This episode of Audiology Marketing Now is made possible by Places for Audiology. That's right, I'm sponsoring my own show this time. Places for Audiology is a new video training course that I created to teach the hearing industry how to use Google's Places program to generate a stream of new patients to your practice. It's the easiest and cheapest way that I know of to attract new patients online, and it works. Check out the course at placesforaudiology.com. Coming up on today's episode, are there actually people with hearing loss using the internet? How to enchant your patients in a free online tool to create really creative photos to use when marketing your practice. I'm Matt Perry, and this is the show that helps audiologists like you get what they really want: more happy patients and more profits. Earlier this week, I saw one of my longtime patients, and we ended up spending a lot of time talking about how he and his friends are using the internet. We'll call him Mr. Gerald, which of course isn't his real name. Or is it? Anyway, Mr. Gerald is 82 years old, and he lives with his wife in one of these really big assisted living facilities. You know, the kind with multiple buildings and huge dining rooms. Well, his wife actually just won the Dancing with the Stars ballroom competition there, which kind of gives you an idea of what kind of place this is. Well, he's got a severe bilateral sensory hearing loss with pretty bad word recognition ability, and when there's background noise around, he doesn't do so well, which is a big problem for him because every meal he eats is in a huge dining room, which means during every meal he eats, he basically shuts down. Well, he's constantly on the lookout for ways to hear better in background noise, which is how we got into talking about the internet. One of the first things he told me when he came in was that he just bought a pocket talker on eBay along with a neck loop adapter from somebody else. And he's planning on purchasing an extension cable so he can place the external microphone of the pocket talker across the table closer to the people he's trying to hear. Well, clearly, this guy had done some research, and he probably spends a little bit of time online since he bought it off eBay. Well, as an eBay shareholder, I thanked him. And given what I do here, I started probing him about his internet use. Well, it turns out Mr. Gerald has done over 150 transactions on eBay, and his favorite purchase was a wireless TV transmitter he says he purchased for $9, new, from Hong Kong on eBay. And it totally blows away his name brand TV ears. He also told me he loves YouTube and goes on YouTube anytime there's nothing good on TV, which is often. He said he loves the ability to listen to whatever kind of music he wants to anytime he wants to. If he wants to listen to dulcimer music, within seconds, he's listening to dulcimer music. So I asked him one of the questions I get asked a lot, just to see what his reaction would be. The question is, are there enough older people online to justify spending time marketing audiological services? And should we target the children of people with hearing loss since they're more likely to be online than their parents? Well, initially the guy didn't even understand what I was talking about at first. He said, of course there are older people online. And he thought that the concept of targeting their kids was rather ridiculous. Well, why would you target the kids when they don't have the hearing problem, he said. He almost took offense to the question. Now, he knows that he's not the norm, and he knows that not everybody his age is online. Some people aren't online at all. But he told me that his building has a big computer lab in it, and there are, quote, old ladies all over the place using email, Facebook, and Skype with webcams to communicate with their families. That's really important for us to remember. There are plenty of people with hearing loss using the internet. And the concept of focusing your online efforts primarily on the children of people with hearing loss is just not sound marketing. It's okay to do some of that. If you want to have a special blog or a free report or a video speaking directly to the family members, that's great. I think that can be really effective. But it shouldn't be the primary focus of your online efforts. Of course, there are family members out there encouraging their parents to get hearing aids. And there are patients whose children make a lot of decisions for them, so we shouldn't ignore this portion of the market. But the vast majority of people who ultimately benefit from our services decide on their own to take action. And a lot of these people are online. To ignore them and only market to their children is not a good idea. Guy Kawasaki is one of my favorite business gurus. He started out working in a jewelry store and then saw an Apple Macintosh computer before it was publicly available and fell in love with it. He then joined Apple, became a huge success, and now he's a venture capitalist, blogger, and author. I'm currently reading through his latest book, and I think its message is really relevant to our industry. So I wanted to share a little bit of it with you. The book is called Enchantment: The Art of Changing Hearts, Minds, and Actions. And it's about just that. Enchanting people with your brand, business, and services. Some brands are really good at enchanting us, making us really want to do business with them. Apple is a great example. Have you ever seen Apple try and sell a product with a buy one get one offer or a 10% off coupon? I haven't. What about Harley Davidson? You can get an almost identical motorcycle for half the price or less. And they know it, and their customers know it. But they don't care. Harley Davidson is huge anyway. Get this. Resound invited a Harley Davidson motorcycle executive, the marketing guru for Harley Davidson, to speak at one of its conferences in St. Paul a little while ago. I was there myself. This guy displayed a picture of a Honda motorcycle with the exact same specs as a Harley, and it looked just like a Harley. It was half the price, and the speaker told us it actually got a little better gas mileage. But with Harley Davidson, it's not just about the motorcycle. It's about the experience that Harley Davidson can provide to the consumer. And there's a big lesson in there for us. Anyway, back to the book. In the very first chapter, Guy talks about what it was like to try and sell the first Macintosh computer to businesses. And try is the key word. It didn't work. In the very beginning, businesses didn't want Macs at all. He says, and I quote, "We were so enchanted by our own product that we could not understand why everyone else did not feel the same way. That's when I learned that one must understand what people are thinking, feeling, and believing in order to enchant them." He says the fix to this problem is to imagine yourself as the person you want to enchant and ask yourself these 3 questions. If you can't come up with good answers, you won't be able to enchant them. Remember, these are questions that your patients are asking themselves. Number 1, what does this person want? Meaning, from the patient's point of view, they're asking themselves what your motives are. If you don't tell them somehow, they will come up with their own motives for you, whether they're accurate or not. So it's important to broadcast your motives somehow. Number 2, is the change worth the effort? Now, we know the change is worth the effort, but they don't know it. We need to help them understand how our cause ties into what they want and how the benefits outweigh the costs. And in our industry, we're not just talking about financial costs here. Money may be the reason they give you for not taking action, but it's usually not their actual concern, at least their actual primary concern. And number 3, can I change? Even if they logically think that the change is worth it, our patients need to know that they can change, that they can handle wearing something in their ears all day, they can handle the use and maintenance, and that their lives can get better when they're able to hear and communicate with their family. They need to believe that if they take action, they'll finally be able to hear their grandkids. Well, these 3 questions are important for any industry, but I think they're especially important for our industry. Can you come up with some good answers to these questions for your patients? Well, once you do that, you need to figure out a way to get them to answer them for themselves when interacting with your brand. This is great stuff. The book is called Enchanted, and it's by Guy Kawasaki. You can buy it all over the place, and I'll put a link to Amazon in the show notes below the video. When marketing a practice, photos are really important. They can give your practice character. And when you're marketing online, there are a lot of opportunities to use photos. In my Places training course, I talk about some websites where you can get royalty-free photos that you can use on your Places pages and in your citation sources. And these photos are great, but if you want to occasionally add a little more personality to your photos, maybe for a quirky blog post or a newsletter article, here's a great resource. It's called Image Chef, and you can find it at imagechef.com. It's kind of hard to explain, but it allows you to create custom looking images in seconds. Something that would normally take a skilled Photoshop artist quite a while to create. You can make these things online almost instantly using their templates. And they have hundreds to choose from, like this one. This took me less than 20 seconds to create. There's a text box, and whatever you type in the text box shows up in the soup. How cool is that? Now, I haven't tried this, but I bet if you got a mailing list of married men in your area of a certain age and combine this with the right offer, you could probably send this out on a postcard with a headline like, "Is your wife trying to tell you something?" And I'm thinking you might be able to generate a few phone calls here. Like I said, I haven't tried it, so it could bomb, but I think it could work with the right offer. Or how about this one on an ad or postcard? Yeah. Our patients are passionate about their hearing. Here's what they're saying about our practice. And then you can include a bunch of patient testimonials. Now, I admit that these examples are a little out there, a little over the top, and they're probably not congruent with the personality of a lot of your practices. But these are just two examples I came up with within a few seconds. You'll find a few hundred more at imagechef.com. It's free to use, but you can remove your watermark in the corner, their watermark, and get higher resolution images by paying $10 for a 1-month pro account, if you want to. Well, we've come to the end of another episode. Thanks for watching. I plugged my Places for Audiology training course at the beginning of the show, and I hope you check it out at placesforaudiology.com. It really is a super easy way to get new patients from the internet. And don't forget, I'll be at ADA in a couple weeks, so if you see me there, please introduce yourself. But before ADA, I'm doing an online seminar as part of Resound's virtual symposium. My presentation is called Audiology Marketing 2.0, using newer technology to attract older patients. It'll take place at high noon Eastern Time on Friday, November 11th on audiologyonline.com. You can actually get CEUs for this one, so register now. I'll put a link to the registration page in the show notes section at audiologymarketingnow.com. Well, I hope you got something useful from this episode. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section at the bottom of the page. And be sure to tune in next time to learn more modern marketing strategies designed to get you more of what you really want, more happy patients, and more profits.